Poplawski guy, the guy in Pittsburgh who shot the cops, absolutely, positively believed that they were going to come after his guns, his Second Amendment rights and his First Amendment rights, and see how they work in tandem. They know they're saying something crazy, the conservatives do, right? And they know that they're trying to stir up everybody. And when they incite violence, that's an issue, right? So the next logical thing is, hey, can you stop inciting violence? That's why they bring the First Amendment into it, too. So they could be like, I have a First Amendment right. See, the minute I started saying something against the government, they try to shut me down. And then you say, well, all right, but my God, man, you're saying incredibly violent things. Don't do that. Oh, First Amendment! First Amendment! Okay, now that I have my First Amendment rights, they're coming for your guns. You better load them and hide them. And as you're going to hear from G. Gordon Liddy here, don't register them. All right, listen to how mental these guys sound.
And also knowing the evils of Marxism, liberalism, fill in the blank, I am really concerned about the newest version of the brown shirts. And
wait, Marxist or brown shirts?
I'm concerned that, almost immediately that new little group will be formed. And I'm also very concerned about the firearm owners in this country. I think we need a bit of general advice from you as to what we can do as a group with our firearms. Do we need to buy up all the cosmoline in the country and bury our weapons?
Bunch of morons.
I'm curious as to what advice you have for us. I mean, we know it's going to happen. We know that they can't
really
get their fingers on the brass ring until they've disarmed us. I don't know. Healthcare is a concern, but it's not my primary concern. And I think that.
Well, healthcare, as I warned before, and as Dick Armey, who's also, Dallas, Texas guy.
He's a good man.
Warned, yes, a brilliant man.
Oh, very brilliant.
He said, look, it's coming in the guise of healthcare, but that's not really what it's all about. What it's all about is acquiring dominion over the individual.
Absolutely.
Well,
how do they attain any kind of dominion over an armed populace? I mean, it has to be their number one concern.
Yeah, but I would think so. And Barack Obama, by his voting record, has demonstrated that he is totally anti-gun. Now, you say what to do. Well, the first thing you do is, no matter what law they pass, do not, repeat, not ever register any of your firearms.
Yeah,
yes,
stay classy.
Because that's where they get the list of where to go first to confiscate. So you don't ever register a firearm.
That would be illegal.
On the same hand, if we're apprehended with a non-registered firearm, we're under the jailhouse there too.
Well, that's true, but what's going to happen is, if you register your firearms, you're handing them a list of where to go to confiscate the firearms. So don't do it.
I think that's why we fear them.
But what I'm speaking of is any firearms you may have that they pass some laws saying, bring in your firearms and register them.
Oh, certainly, yes, I understand.
That's what I'm referring to. Yeah.
Okay.
Depending upon the intensity of the repression by the government, the way they're seeking firearms and so forth, then I would say yes with respect to cosmoline and proper wrapping and storage, and then putting them where they will not be findable by metal detectors and things of that sort. I'll leave that up to your imagination, and because it differs from location to location, but that would be the thing to do.
It almost seems like he's giving advice to a terrorist, okay? Now, I'm not calling that guy on the phone a terrorist, but all right, when you're going to an airport, this is how you hide your guns. Or if the authorities come for you, this is where you hide your, weapons, right? And, by the way, is he just not flat out encouraging illegal behavior? But then why would G. Gordon Liddy care? He's a convicted felon. He tried to undermine our democracy once during the Nixon years and spy on the opposing party, doesn't give a damn about democracy. Now he's talking about the other party? And look, put all that aside. These guys are paranoid nuts. They're trying to achieve dominion over our lives? Yeah, Barack Obama wants to run G. Gordon Liddy's life. Why? Why would he be interested in G. Gordon Liddy's life at all? Like, yeah, he's sitting in the White House. He's like, oh, wow, well, you know, how do we get Liddy to do what we want? He doesn't give a damn. We don't. Look, they live in a completely different reality than we do. In the real world, liberals, progressives, whatever you want to call them, you might disagree with them on issue to issue, but they're trying to help people, right? And they're saying, all right, you know what? How do we get healthcare costs a little lower? Or how do we cover more people? And you might say, hey, I disagree with your thing. But it is not to gain dominion over you and run your stupid-ass life. We're not interested in your life. In fact, we want you to leave us alone. You're the one interested in everybody else's life. You got to go and say, oh, no, gay people can't do this, and before it was black people can't do that, and now they're saying store all your weapons. This stuff is dangerous, man. One of these loons is going to do something crazy, and when they do, there's going to be holy hell to pay, man. I mean, I can't even begin to imagine it. And now if you go to pass any, even attempt or begin to talk about any sensible regulation of firearms, they're going to be absolutely convinced that you're trying to gain dominion over their stupid-ass lives. We just don't want you to shoot people. That doesn't mean we're going to ban your handguns. And Barack Obama has never said any such thing. It's made up. All right. God, these guys are dangerous, man. God help us if they do something crazy or stupid.